Welcome to Operational Framework for the Integration of Celestial Dynamics into Modern Theater Strategy. And we're going to go over strategic applications in advanced astrology, turning celestial dynamics into modern theater. And this is how we're doing it with our new battlefield. So modern warfare operates in 4 domains: land, sea, air, and space. We propose the formal recognition of a 5th foundational domain, the celestial. This briefing outlines a framework for interpreting the conflicts between planetary archetypes conceptualized as divine intelligences or energetic principles as a predictive language for geopolitical tension, societal fracture, and windows of strategic opportunity. This isn't mysticism, it's the analysis of systemic resonance patterns on a solar system scale. Here's our core theoretical construct: Graha Yudha, planetary war. Foundational model is Graha Yudha, Vedic astrological concept, where specific planets in extreme proximity, meaning 1 degrees is greater, engage in a war with one emerging as victor. So the combatants, we have Mercury, communication, logistics; Venus, alliances, values; Mars, combat, initiative; Jupiter, expansion, morale; Saturn, restriction, endurance. Here's the exempt: the Sun, central command; Moon, public sentiment; and lunar nodes, collective destiny, influence, but don't engage directly in these micro conflicts. Victory criteria decided by celestial metrics: apparent brightness, altitude, longitudinal degree, precedence, and intrinsic strength. For example, Saturn subdues Mercury. Mars-Venus war, for example, 2025 through 2026, doesn't predict a literal battle of love versus hate. Signals a period where the drive for action, Mars, violently clashes with a desire for harmony and treaty, Venus, creating high-risk windows for diplomatic breakdowns and the sudden aggressive renegotiation of alliances. Here's our historical precedent and doctrinal shift. History validates the operational use of celestial intelligence. So here's our Roman doctrine. Roman state religion was fundamentally astro-military. Jupiter, king of the gods, was a divine witness to state oaths and treaties. Specialized priestly colleges, the Fetials, performed elaborate rituals invoking Jupiter to sanction declarations of war, ensuring divine favor for the legions. Generals like Augustus employed personal astrologers to time campaigns. Okay. Our Renaissance psyops. Maximilian I of the Holy Roman Empire weaponized astrology as strategic propaganda, employing mathematicians and astrologers to produce public predictions and imagery that framed his military campaigns as cosmically ordained, demoralizing opponents and consolidating power. Kepler-Wallenstein doctrine. In the 17th century, Generalissimo Albrecht von Wallenstein demanded precise astrological forecasts for his campaigns. Astronomer Johannes Kepler's rebuttal establishes a critical modern principle: stars incline, they do not compel. Celestial patterns set the weather, creating periods of high or low probability for certain types of events, but human will, decision-making, and local contingency remain the decisive factors. Theater-specific celestial analysis, 2026 through 2028 forecasts, based on projected ephemerides. Following are identified as high probability resonant windows, HPRWs. Our first one is the Mars retrograde in Gemini and Cancer. And this is December 2025 through February 2026. We have Mars, combat, losing direction, motion, and traverses, sensitive, communicative Gemini, and territorial defensive Cancer signs. Information warfare peak, propaganda, cyber attacks, and communication system disruptions become primary offensive tools. Asymmetric and guerrilla tactics. Direct frontal assaults falter. Success favors agile, communicative, and psychologically disruptive campaigns. Defensive posturing, heightened sensitivity to perceived threats to homeland or cultural identity. Second, we have Jupiter-Saturn dynamic. Jupiter in Gemini, expansion of networks from April 2025, Saturn in Pisces, dissolution of structures from March 2025. Great structuring force, Saturn operates in a nebulous ideological realm, Pisces, while the force of expansion, Jupiter, works through data and networks, Gemini. Ideological and narrative warfare. The battlefield is collective psyche. Success hinges on controlling compelling narratives, memes, and religious or ideological doctrines. Logistics through non-state networks, supply chains, and influence move through decentralized, difficult-to-track digital and social networks. Operational protocols and applications. Protocol Augur, auspicious guidance for unified response, or AUGUR. So our action, our A, and I'll say our AC, and our application, which is our AP. So we established a Celestial Situation Room, CSR, overlay for existing command centers. The CSR tracks real-time planetary HPRWs against active global hotspots. Our AP is prior to a major offensive or diplomatic push. The CSR calculates the relocated chart for the target coordinates. If Mars is angular, ascendant, midheaven in that chart, the initiative will face heightened overt resistance. Recommendation may be to delay or shift to covert, Saturnine, enduring, or mercurial informational tactics. Protocol Fatile, faithful execution of treaty and initiative alignment logistics. Again, we have our AC and we have our AP. Formalize the timing of treaty signings, alliance announcements, and declarations of strategic intent. Schedule such events during periods of Venus-Jupiter harmony for lasting beneficial pacts, or Mars-Saturn alignment for imposing stringent, enforceable sanctions. Avoid Mercury retrograde periods for detailed negotiations. Protocol Psyche, psychological operations with celestial heuristic enhancement. Align information operations IO themes with the prevailing celestial archetype. During a Pluto and Aquarius period, transformation of systems, IO campaigns should frame actions as revolutionary, technologically inevitable, or for the liberation of the collective. During a Saturn and Pisces period, themes of duty, sacrifice, and defending sacred tradition resonate more powerfully. Here's our conclusion and strategic mandate. Planetary gods don't make literal war. They constitute a dynamic system of archetypal pressures that shape the psychological and energetic landscape within which all human conflict occurs, from boardrooms to battlefields. Our mandate is threefold. To move beyond superstition into a disciplined study of cosmic climatology. To integrate this layer of foresight into our predictive analytics, not as a replacement for human, SIGINT, or OSINT, but as a complementary MEDAC C celestial factor. To deny the strategic high ground to adversaries by mastering its language and applications. The commander who understands that a Mars-Venus war overhead may signal a vulnerable alliance on the ground holds an intelligence advantage as old as civilization, now refined for the age of quantum computing and space-based theater. And here's our Celestial Situation Room briefing, which I'll go over in the next video, and the synastry. So we'll see you there teaching you more advanced astrology with fun. Subscribe and like for more.